it's referring to the blade and the bow of a key. So yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
we are
I'll look
live
that up.
now. So howdy y'all. This is Kyle Whittington, and I am joined today by Drew the Catholic. And we have a special announcement today. If you've seen the title and the thumbnail, you can probably guess at what it's going to be. So, Drew, would you like to do the honors?
Kyle is shutting down his channel and admitting defeat. I finally destroyed my nemesis, Kyle Whittington.
Yeah. So no, but
no, I'm just kidding.
yeah. Okay. But for real, go.
Yeah. So a lot of you know that last year, Kyle and I put together the first ever Catholic Creator Conference in Steubenville, Ohio. A lot of people came. It was a really good time. A lot of people in the Discord server with the Creator Corner went to that conference, and we've decided to put on another one. So today, what we're going to do is kind of announce that officially that it is happening. We'll talk about the dates and some of the stuff we know for sure, and then answer any questions you guys have about the conference.
Yeah, absolutely. So just so we know, feel free to post up your questions now in the live chat. We are streaming both on YouTube and on X, so I should be able to see your comments regardless of where they are. So yeah. So first, we're going to talk about when, because we already kind of know the who a little bit. But when we're looking at July 24th through the 27th in Steubenville, Ohio, 2025. So we're going to where? So obviously in Steubenville, we are all but officially on board with the St. Paul Center again this year. We haven't met with them officially. That's happening later this week, but I don't anticipate any hiccups. Things went really well there last year, and we just have to formalize that agreement later on this week.
But we have the dates reserved.
Yes, we do have the date.
That's the important thing.
Yeah,
the dates have been reserved for us.
So yeah, and then who's it for? This is going to be for Catholic content creators. This is very, very important. As like, okay, what's a Catholic content creator? We actually have a pretty broad definition of that. So last year, we had people that were musicians, we had artists, we had people who just had like audio podcasts on Spotify and whatnot. They didn't have YouTube channels. So this isn't, it's like, oh, well, what if I just do Instagram or something like that? Desiree of the Uncatechized Catholic, she's been a massive blessing to this entire thing, basically from the beginning, and her primary platform is Instagram. So whether your primary platform is Instagram, X, TikTok, so yeah, come on out.
It's also for apostolates, not just individuals. Last year we had a couple apostolates send a few people out to represent their organization. So it's not just like individual creators that are Catholic, but if you have an organization that's creating content in any meaningful way as well.
Absolutely. So EWTN, Coming Home Network, we're talking to you. Please send your people out. It was EWTN actually sent a guy out, Ryan, and great guy. Also, like, no man should look that good. That was just unfair. So anyway, Wesley in the chat has a good question. I think this is fantastic. What if I'm thinking about becoming a content creator, but am not yet? This is a really good question. So general rule of thumb, we're looking for people that have already been creating content prior to this announcement. If you are thinking about getting into the game, absolutely, please go start. We've got some resources that can help you. Just hop in the Discord and we can talk. But this is going to be for existing content creators. If you are thinking about starting, please get started and then apply next year. So anyway,
with that though, like, your audience size is not a metric that we use to determine your application.
Yes.
And I think that's one of the neat features about this conference last year, is that it's just a testament to how awesome everyone is in this space, that we had some creators who had hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and they were there networking and talking with people who had literally like 10 subscribers or less,
Right.
But the important thing is that the people who were there are actively and consistently doing this. And so it's not a game of like, oh, you have the minimum subscriber or follower requirement. It's mostly that you're making a serious effort to make content as a Catholic online. And as we discussed, it's not merely just apologetics or like faith-based content. Some of our best creators that we've had involved in the community are making cultural or entertainment content. Some of them are like making music and things like that aren't on the face Catholic, but are still informed by their faith and still, evangelistic in some way for many of them. But we need more creators of all shapes and sizes, and that makes this event really good. So if
Yeah.
you're small, don't let that discourage you from applying. That's not a metric that we're
Yeah,
using.
absolutely. Yeah, we're not discriminating based on.
Let's be honest. If we added a subscriber minimum, we might not make it.
Oh, I wouldn't qualify. I wouldn't qualify. Neither would you. So yeah. Yeah, and especially to these new guys, you might look at somebody like me or Drew. Like if you've got, somewhere between 100 and 200 subscribers, and you might look at, somebody like me with like 4,000. Someone's like, oh, this guy's so much further ahead. It's like, yeah, I've been at it longer than you, but trust me, I am still just a normal dude, just like you. And that's what this thing is all about. So, and on that note, I guess let's talk about what this is all about. So, if you are watching this stream right now, chances are, you know what? See, I told you this before we got started too. Your mic's a little low, but
it must be StreamYard because it's coming in fine on my levels, but I'll check it out.
Okay, yeah. So let me see if I can change that on my end too.
How about now? Is that better?
Audience, you tell me, because he sounds fine to me. I can't hear myself through this. I can just But why are we doing this? Okay, if you have spent more than 15 minutes on the Catholic media sphere, whatever, you would know how much of an absolute dumpster fire it is. There's all sorts of infighting, there's arguments, there's beefs going on, and it's ridiculous. So what we're wanting to do is let's give us an opportunity to get together in a real incarnational way. And the great 21st century, late 20th, early 20th, 21st century philosopher Mike Tyson once said, social media has made us far too comfortable with being disrespectful and not getting punched in the face for it. And while that's a little crude, we're not trying to have fist fights, but there's some truth there. There's some things that some people will say to you online that they would never say to you in person, and not just because of the threat of violence, but Matt Fradd always goes back to this example of whenever he had Jordan Peterson on, it was like, Matt, you look really red, and he's just like, I mean, I look red right now, don't I? So, that's just something that we're trying to do, get people together, forge some real friendships. So that way we're a little bit of a better witness as we're out here evangelizing in the digital continent. So
that being said, the key event of this year's conference is that Kyle and I will be boxing each other to the death. So you can look forward to that. No, I'm just kidding.
You can go ahead and write Drew's obituary, because I've got reach and weight on him. It's not going to be a fair fight.
The man's not lying. In all seriousness, though, I mean, as Catholics, we represent the church, and our efforts online should be representative of the unity that we have in the Eucharist. And one thing that's encouraging to me is that when this whole endeavor started, like Kyle said, the online Catholic sphere definitely was a dumpster fire. And in many ways, it still is and can be. At the same time, it's already had an impact, and we've even just heard from people outside the Catholic world that wow, it seems like you guys are all really unified and you're working together and you're collaborative. And so when we as Catholics are open to that and having a conversation first, and not just doing an endless series of reaction videos, and then more than that, opening ourselves to collaboration with one another, we've already seen that a lot of small creators, big creators, and even larger apostolates are very open to that, and it's amazing to see. And anything that we can do to help shape the culture of online Catholic engagement to be more that way is going to benefit obviously all of our channels and all of our efforts, but more than that, it's going to benefit the kingdom of God by bringing people into the church. So it's a really important mission. We really believe in it. And it's already starting to bear fruit. And it's not like that's just Kyle and I that have done that. It's everyone that's involved. This is a group effort. And the people that showed up last year are all still talking. I mean, almost everyone I met at that conference, I've had multiple conversations with since. I've met some of them in person again since then. We've all collaborated, and it's become this tight-knit thing. And that's what we want the entire, Catholic digital space to be like. It should be a representation of our ecclesiology and of our communion with one another.
Yeah, we do have a question here from Barely Protestant. Just joined. Any Anglicans going to be speakers? So that's a really good question. So part of the application that we have now, I know you're asking about speakers, but this is attendees. So to apply, what we're going to have people do is you're going to have to ask this question of, can you get on board with this declaration of faith? Part of that is, moreover, I adhere with religious submission of will and intellect to the teachings which either the Roman Pontiff, Pope Francis, or the College of Bishops enunciate when they exercise their authentic magisterium. So basically, if you can't get on board with that statement, then chances are, in order to maintain your integrity, you're at, yeah. So if you can't get on board with that, then this conference is not for you. And we're gonna hold the speakers to this exact same declaration of faith. So, but that was an excellent question. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. So, do we want to tease out what we got going on a little bit?
Yeah, I think so. So last year we had some great speakers. We had Dr. Alan Harrelson speak last year. Matt Fradd did like a Q&A panel, which was great. This year we're going to have other speakers, not those guys, but we are going to have amazing speakers. We're not quite ready to announce that yet. Still got to formalize some things, but it'll still be really good. We'll have some amazing workshops. I can say confidently, I know that I'm going to be doing a tech workshop on lighting. And so one of the things that I'm going to do is walk through the principles of lighting for video production, specifically geared towards like talking head content like this, but the same principles could apply to almost anything. And it's not going to be like, hey, pay to win, spend a bunch of money on lights, and that's how you do it. We're going to walk through like a $60 Home Depot setup that's not meant for lighting, and we'll make it look good. And then we'll also show you we can do some big stuff. Another big thing that I think we had collaboration time last year. We had a 2-hour window on the main day of the conference for creators to collaborate. That's when I actually filmed the little mini doc that we posted on my channel a couple weeks ago. That's also on the conference website that you guys should all go check out.
Link in the description.
Yeah. And other people recorded interviews and content and things like that. But one of the things that Kyle and I kind of noticed is we had all these creators, and a lot of them, very reasonably didn't feel like carting their entire studio to Steubenville on the plane. So, they might be used to a really nice camera setup and microphone stuff, but they might have just had their phone, and so maybe they didn't create anything. So this year, what we're planning on doing is also having professional studio space available for the creators at the conference to utilize. And so that means that if you come and you want to match up with one of the other creators and collaborate with one another and actually record content there, we're going to have opportunities for you to do that. And it's going to be nice. It's going to be multi-camera setups. It's going to be well lit, good audio, all of that stuff. And the best part is we're actually going to have a staff that actually produces that for you. So you can just sit down, record your podcast episode, your video podcast episode, or whatever content you're making with that stuff, and then that file will just be ready to deliver to you as an attendee. So that's some of the big stuff. There's probably other things too. I'm trying to think. You might be. Yeah,
if you want to get a good gauge on what that quality is going to look like, if you saw any of the content that came out of the Catholic Answers conference, I think probably the most famous one that went around was the Deuterocomical interview with Trent Horn. It's going to be about that caliber. So, if you're a small creator, this is an opportunity for you to step into like a $15,000 studio and produce content that's well worth the price of admission that we're asking. So, and it's going to be just all around a good time. Sia Grace, who did attend last year, says, question, more of the same or are there key differences? So Drew has already addressed one of the key differences in the studios that are going to be available. But another thing that's going to happen is that we're actually extending it. So last year, the entire conference was more or less just a single day. It was basically just that Saturday. This time, we're going to have 2 full days of conference. And then should I go ahead and tell them what we're going to be doing at the end of Saturday?
Let's make them wait.
Okay, you're gonna have to wait for these schedule to be finalized.
We'll announce that soon. There's something cool at the end of Saturday.
Yeah, something cool's happening at the end of Saturday, and it'll be really cool. And that part will be live streamed. So, but anyway, so yeah, it's gonna be longer. We're gonna have more workshops. Last year we only had 2. This year we're gonna have at least 4. we haven't gotten him officially locked down, but there's a prominent Catholic YouTuber, not named Matt Fradd, who's going to be kind of headlining this year, and he's going to be speaking, and he's going to be running a workshop as well. Yeah, so it's going to be a really good time. I'm going to be running a workshop. He was in the chat. I don't know if he's still here, but Master Samwise, who runs an excellent channel. Master Samwise here. I've got his name pulled up on the screen. If you haven't checked out his channel before, I would not be shocked if you've actually seen one of his videos before. Like, he does videos on like the masculinity of Iroh, of Uncle Iroh from like Avatar: The Last Airbender. He's done some great videos on like God of War. He doesn't create explicitly Catholic content, but it's good, popular content that is just dripping with Catholic values. So he's going to do a little bit of a workshop on, storytelling and whatnot. So that's good. I'm going to do one on just kind of like networking and meeting people. So sometimes just, introducing yourself's a little awkward. And, I've seemed to found myself in this situation where I seemingly know everybody. So I'm going to just
5 whole friends, guys. It's amazing.
I've got 5 whole friends.
And most of them, that's actually just his children. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So my wife tolerates me, but anyway, so yes, I called. So yes. So Master Samwise is going to be doing Teresa Yannaris is coming back this year, and she's also going to be giving giving a workshop on kind of a continuation of what she did last year, is like kind of like figuring out your archetype and how to play into that and like really appeal to the audience that you're trying to reach. So all around really good stuff. Nothing's official, but like last year Catholic Answers was there, and those guys, I saw Thomas Graff in the chat earlier.
Thomas, if you don't come, we're kidnapping you and making you come.
Yeah. Just so you know. Yeah. So these guys, they were there. I don't know what their involvement is going to be, but I would be shocked if none of those guys show up. So okay. This is a good question. How staggered will the workshops be? That is, how many people will be able to attend? This is an excellent question. We are still finalizing the actual schedule, but since we have multiple days to work with, we're gonna have some more leeway to work with. It's not gonna be like you choose one or the other. People will be able to go to multiple workshops, and we're gonna try to make it so that those ultimatum type choices, like you either do this or that, those are going to be as limited as we can possibly fit. But we've also got a lot of really good stuff coming on, with speakers and whatnot. So, what is Thomas saying? Before this was a thing, you would have had to kidnap me to get to Ohio.
Same, bro.
That's fair, honestly. But, but yeah, okay. So I guess let's talk about like how you go about it, because if you check out the website, you're going to see that there's no registration or just purchase a ticket option. Drew, do you want to like kind of talk to how that
here? I can just pull the website up.
I mean, I have it, so I can just boom. Here we go.
Pull it up. So at the top, if you click out of the application, so we have this nice fancy little banner. You might see yourself in that. Shout out to the people who were in the background of those shots.
Shout out to Dom Man for taking this video for the most part.
Oh yeah, there were 2 clips in there that were from Dom Man stuff, so we got to use those. He was nice enough to let us use that. So we do an application-based conference, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One of the main reasons is that we do have an attendee limit based on our venue. So we figured that this is one way to make sure that, like, okay, it's not just going to be a rush to the door, first come, first serve, buy a ticket, and then, better luck next time. But we also really value making sure that, we have different niches of creativity represented. So, someone like Master Samwise compared to, someone like Kyle or I. We don't want it to just be like, oh, this year all the apologists got in. Next year all the Spotify artists get in. Like, we want to have a healthy mix of people and healthy mix of sizes. That last year is what created the experience and made it amazing, is that you had a broad range of, committed, faithful Catholics all creating something, but not creating the same things. And so to be able to cultivate that experience and just ensure that, the atmosphere of the conference is what we want, that's why we take an application.
Yeah. So what you do, if you want to come, hit the apply now button. And don't think that that's just going to be something that like, oh, because it's an application, I don't have a shot. No. Trust me. Um, the bar to get in is, I don't want to say surprisingly low, but it's
Look, it's
not.
Kyle and I running this thing, man.
Yeah,
How bad
come
can
on.
it be?
So like this is something for everybody, because just because you have a small following or you might be early on, that's, as long as you keep at it, that doesn't last forever. And we want to get people in who are like late stage, or like, that are already kind of like established. We want people that are just getting started out. Drew and I both got started on YouTube, and there really wasn't that good, strong community that we could lean on for help. A lot of it you just had to figure out on your own. And this is something that we're trying to do to get people in and strengthen them, so that way we can all build each other up and be more effective missionaries, advancing the kingdom, building the body of Christ, and doing so in communion with each other. So yeah, so anyway, you just go here, you click apply now, you go here, you just fill out your info, get your email, phone number, country. So country's in there because we actually had we actually had 2 Canadians show up last year. And yeah, so how many team members will you bring? So this is just to give us an idea. Like, let's say you're part of a big apostolate and you're bringing a team of 10 people. Okay, we're going to need to know that, because we're going to need a separate conversation for that. But, if you want to bring 1 or 2 people, we need to know that. Tell us your channel name, your main platform. You primarily on YouTube, X, Instagram, etc. Give us this link to your main platform. We're going to go check out your content. We're going to see what you're all about. And we're going to just make sure that you have a good fit. Because the last thing that we're trying to get to happen, and I'll just be rather candid about this, I don't want people showing up that are just going to cause fights. If you're just going to come here just to cause issues, and that seems to be what your primary focus is online, I don't want to say I'm going to outright deny you, but it's at least going to be a conversation before we approve. And apologetics, church lifestyle, politics, pop culture. Pop culture. Like Mary Morgan was there last year, who runs the channel Pop Culture Crisis. And you know what? She brought a lot of insight that I didn't get to talk to her all that much, but I know Teresa Yannaris did. It was super fascinating. Yeah, and this full-time, part-time side project, once again, this isn't a determining factor. This is just so that we can get a gauge of who does what. So yeah, and then this, hey, I hope to gain this out of this. Maybe you see something that we don't, and because it's in July, there's still time to implement it. And then, of course, we already kind of went over the declaration of faith. You know what? This is for Catholics. So this isn't this. We pulled this straight from the Vatican website. We did add, specifically Pope Francis in there. If we do get a new pope, God forbid, between now and then, we'll update that. But yeah, it's pretty simple. Shouldn't take you too long to fill this application out, and it's going to be a great time. So, Drew, do you have anything?
I did want to point out some of the people that watch this. Yeah, you might bring a team. It's worth noting that each individual in your team will have to have a separate ticket. But last year we had a few sponsors. We are having sponsor options that we're putting together for this. That's one of the things that we're looking to finalize here soon. We just kind of wanted to announce this before the Christmas season fully takes over and people could start getting their plans together. So if you are a part of an apostolate that maybe wants to sponsor something like this, feel free. On the top right there's a contact tab. You can fill out that basic form and start that conversation that way. We do have sponsorship packages. We also are we're looking to finalize this soon, but we're looking into having vendors on site as well. There's just a few things to figure out there. But if you want to start that conversation now, and that's going to be more your situation, is approaching this like a sponsor or a vendor, then you can feel free to reach out to us through the contact tab as well. The application that's on the main site won't be as relevant to you, but we will be we will be doing some of that stuff as well this year. So I just wanted to put that out there. The other thing is, this website is as bare bones as it's going to be right now. Again, this is almost like a pre-announcement in that we have the dates locked in. The scheduling's not fully finalized. The main speaker, we're not quite ready to announce, but in the coming week or two, some of those details are going to start filling in, and we're going to update this website accordingly. We just wanted to get this out there so people could get their eyes on it. We have like 200 some days till the conference. That gives people plenty of time. The other thing though is, last year when we were putting this together, we were taking applications like right up to the last minute of the conference.
Mhm.
And, kind of day of, we're like, yeah, we might get 50 people, we might get 10 people. We don't really know. And we ended up getting 50 people. This
I
year
had
we're
to
trying
turn
to be a
people
little more,
away.
yeah, we're
Yeah, I
trying to
had
be
to
more
turn people away
proactive.
because so many people wanted to show up. Yeah.
So that being said, like you can throw your application in there now, um, or as this website gets updated over the next couple of weeks, feel free to check back, see if those new things have been added, and many of them will be, and we'll have a more robust description of what the event's going to be like. In addition to that, like I mentioned, sponsor packages and things like that, we'll be having that information as well. Um, and I did want to mention, so we have what's called the early bird window right here. You can see the timer for that. Again, if we're doing applications, we're taking them as early as possible with the fixed price and an early bird pricing, which you can see when you scroll down. And again, we're just trying to give you guys more time to plan as well, and also give us an idea of who's coming. Last year, the conference was, for all intents and purposes, basically free. But this year, just to be able to cover the cost of actually putting it on,
Yeah.
this is going to be the prices we have and the features associated with that. Specifically, if you look at VIP, one of the things I mentioned earlier was studio scheduling, and everyone that attends, even as a standard attendee, will have an opportunity to use studio time. VIP is going to get priority scheduling and more opportunities. That's just one of those
Yeah.
things where to be able to put that together, get the people to staff it, have the equipment on hand in the locations, they're going to get more access to that. There's also going to be a VIP meet and greet, and there'll be some other perks too. But by and large, everyone's going to get a ton of networking time with each other, tons of time to chat with each other, opportunities to use the studio, and then access to all of the actual conference speeches and workshops. If that first window passes and we don't have your application in, then these prices, just as it gets closer, just because we're getting closer to filling out the conference, they will go up a little bit. So there's an incentive for you to apply early. Once your application's been received and we review them at the end of this window, we'll be sending out the approval, and that'll actually come with your portal to actually purchase your ticket and make your final plan. So the other thing too is, last year, like Kyle said, we had to turn people away because we hit our capacity. Our hope is that we can kind of know who's coming earlier. That being said, if it's like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to come, I'm trying to string it together or whatnot, we will have a waiting list if it fills up. Because, it happens, life happens. Someone might
Yep.
apply, pay for their ticket, and then need to back out or whatever it is. Maybe there's a spot that opens up for some reason. If we still know you're interested after this main application window closes, we'll have a secondary one. Then after that, it'll be a waiting list. So anyways, that's just a little bit about the process. For the most part, we'll just review these applications, and then you'll get an email, letting you know you've been approved or otherwise. There in some cases might be a discussion that we have with you as well, so we'd let you know if that's the case. But
Yeah.
that's pretty much all I have.
Yeah, and that's the discussion, I think, is just really important because there are some people there are some people out here, I'm not going to name names, but that it's just one of those, we're gonna have to just talk. It's not that let's say Drew just made nothing but inflammatory content. It's not an automatic rejection, but it is one of those like, hey, you are welcome to come because we do actually want to be friends with you. We do think that you are one of the coworkers in the vineyard here, but you just need to understand that if you are causing problems in the conference, you will be removed from the conference with no refund.
No one's gonna
If
do
you are
that,
good with
though,
those
guys.
terms,
Be
then you can come.
cool. Be cool.
Yeah.
It
So-
didn't happen last year, so
No,
that's
it didn't
good.
happen last year.
Yeah.
Last year was fantastic. So yeah, so that's what we're gonna keep it on with. But we're just trying to keep it as broad as we can. To try to get as many people in because what all of this is kind of building up to is the fact that as Catholics and as Christians at large, we've gotten yeah. Oh, this was a
Dude, yeah, the conference is a world-changing event. The world changed at the end of the conference. We were all sitting there hanging out, drinking beer together, and then Josiah stands up. He's like, "Trump just got shot."
yes.
Room instantly goes silent.
Well, no,
It's
he's like,
crazy.
and then he's like, everybody shut up. We need to pray right now. And it was just like, and we did. And it was, that was a moment that I'll never forget for the rest of my life. But
You know what I'll never forget about that moment is once Josiah realized that Trump was alive and got up and did his fight thing, he came over to me and he's all excited. He's like, "We're gonna win!" And he just started punching me in the arm repeatedly out of excitement. And he punched me in the arm about 9 times, I think, jumping up and down in excitement that Trump lived. It was pretty cool. It was funny.
Yeah. So
if you want that to be your experience, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. We cannot guarantee if Trump's going to get shot again next year.
Or if Josiah will punch you, but the chance is not zero. It's never zero.
Yes, no, the chances are low, but never zero. But yeah, no, it was that was a surreal moment, honestly. But
yeah, that's crazy.
I had something. What? Oh, I was talking about the as Catholics and Christians, we've gotten very comfortable with mediocrity, and this is a problem. If I told you that, hey, let's go watch a Catholic movie, your reaction is probably going to be like, maybe not, because it's very low budget, it's poorly done usually, and this is, it was just very, it's a frustrating situation. So part of this is so that we can build up to the point where Catholic creators, filmmakers, music makers, etc., are getting the resources that they need to get back to the point where the church is driving the culture again. We are not, as Christians in general, but especially Catholics, we seem content to just imitate the culture instead of drive it. And a lot of this is specific with that. This is aimed at getting to the point to where the Catholic Church gets back in the driver's seat of the culture, and we kind of determine what's cool.
We built Western civilization, guys. All the coolest art and architecture and the culturally foundational literature is ours. So let's start doing that again. That's kind of the ultimate goal. Yeah.
Master Samwise says Christian movies suck because they don't care enough about the movie part. Correct. Correct.
So true. So true. Many such cases.
So if you are interested in joining, please apply. We'd love to have you. Chances are, do we have any other questions before we kind of sign off? Drew, do you have any thoughts?
I will just say too, I've seen a couple people asking like, "Oh, I haven't started yet." We're not trying by not allowing people who haven't posted anything yet to come. It's not trying to discourage you, but really I'd rather encourage you get started now, because when you haven't started, the hesitation is always like, oh, is it good enough? Oh, am I wasting my time? Or is it gonna, the odds are, like, just to be realistic, your first couple of videos, and by couple I mean couple dozen, maybe couple hundred, will not be doing great. You're still learning, but the quicker you get started, the quicker you learn, the quicker you adapt, and the faster you grow. And so if it's a difference between, not starting and starting, and this motivates you to post your first video, even if it's not done or you're not happy with it, that's just a learning experience. I think that this kept me from starting my podcast for a year. I had done a podcast as a Protestant. I stopped it because I knew I was becoming Catholic. I became Catholic. And then like a year and a half after my conversion, I still hadn't restarted. And that was because I'm like, oh, is it good enough? Oh, do I know what I'm doing? Once I finally started and just said, you know what, I'm just going to post it, see what happens, and adapt. And I just kept doing that. I'm still doing that. I'm still just going, whatever, it's close enough. I'll post it. We'll see what happens, and I'll adapt. And that iterative process has been foundational in my quote unquote success. I won't say it's that great. It's, I'm not a huge channel or anything, but I'm a lot further along than I was when I started, and where I'm a lot further than I thought I would be too. So just get started. And that might be motivating. Like, oh man, if I had known that, maybe I would have posted my first video. Well, do it now. Do it right after this announcement. And it's not as though, okay, I can't attend the conference this year. Okay, we have a Discord below with literally almost 100 Catholic creators in it. Start posting, join that Discord, let us know you're a creator, and then you can get involved in that. That's where most of us are hanging out anyways. And it's almost like a little microcosm of this content. We want you in there. We want to be connecting with people, helping each other grow, learning from each other. So just because I saw a few comments like that, I don't want this to be like a discouragement or something that stops you from starting. If anything, maybe this should be the motivating factor that goes, oh man, I should have started sooner. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is today. So
yep. Yeah. Well, and like, we're going to continue to improve the conference too. So last year was going to be the worst Catholic Creator Conference. This next year, 2025 is going to be the second worst one. Now, that just means that it's just going to get better every year. So, if you miss out on 2025, then aim for 2026. By the time you get there, you'll probably have a sizable audience built up. And, if you're interacting with us in the Discord and whatnot, hey, it's going to be a great, great time. So
Seth said he hopes he can interview the super secret speaker. That would be we should try to set that up because that would be epic. That would be a really good one.
Seth, after this, I will tell you who the super secret speaker is, and
we'll make it happen, dude.
Go ahead and start writing the next Inquisition script.
Yeah, dude, let's seriously do that.
So, Become the Night, Mike asks, will there be more cigars and whiskey? I'm very glad you asked that. That's an excellent question. Yes, there will. So, last year, I say last year like it wasn't still 2024, but whatever. Last conference, we kind of started it off on a Friday evening. We're going to do it a little bit different this year. So, this year, we're starting at a Thursday at 11 a.m. instead. Last year, I wrongly assumed that people wouldn't take off work for this, and so
he didn't know how crazy we all were.
No, I didn't. So this time it's going to start off in midday on a Thursday, and it's going to start in downtown Steubenville, and we're going to have Chesterton's open, so there's going to be whiskey and cigars there. We're going to have another paint and sip event over at the Pottery Shop, so that was super popular, especially with the ladies. And what paint and sip is where you take this mug that hasn't been fired yet and you paint it however you want, and then Paul, the potter, will he'll fire it and then he'll mail it to you. I say it was popular with the ladies, but somebody, not naming names, also went to it of the male persuasion. But so we're gonna have that, and during that time we're gonna have studios set up downtown so you can already start collaborating on the first day. We'll have a scheduling portal so that way you can schedule your studio time and interview some people in person that otherwise normally wouldn't have. So and then at the very end of, or to bring us all together, we're gonna have a cocktail hour with hors d'oeuvres, and it's gonna be the location still to be determined, but it'll still be downtown Steubenville, and we will we'll do that, and it's going to be a really good time. And then so that's going to be Thursday, the Thursday of the conference. Friday is going to be at the St. Paul Center, assuming nothing goes wrong in the negotiations on that, which I don't anticipate there will. But whiskey and cigars. There will be whiskey and cigars, and then also whenever the conference shuts down for the day, head downtown, go to Chesterton's. Matt Fradd doesn't live here anymore, but guys, Chesterton's didn't get less cool. Insider info, you probably weren't going to get to hang out with Matt Fradd anyway, if you just come randomly in Steubenville, but you do get to hang out with the cool people here, and especially the cool people from the conference. So
and we're going to have lots of evening things. We'll all be hanging out in the evening once the official conferencey things are over. There will be non-conferencey fun things. So throughout. I'm excited. I think with the addition of having the studios, having an extra full day of conference programming, having more speakers, more panels, it's going to be a huge step up from last year. And also it's just awesome to see what it's done, and the just the connections that have already been made because of this conference, and I'm excited to see y'all again this coming year.
Yeah, absolutely. Any final questions before we get going? Does he look like Saitama? Yes.
I don't know.
Well, he's asking about the guy who went to the paint and sips. Yes, he looks like Saitama. Okay. Also Minnesotan. But anyway, no. I love people from Minnesota in as much as I'm required to. But okay, well, I think that just about covers it. So once again, the link for the Catholic Creator Conference is in the description. If you have any questions, feel free to fill out the contact page, send me an email, send Drew an email. Here's Drew's phone number. You can call him. No, I'm kidding.
Here's my address.
Yeah.
Wouldn't know anything about that, would you, Kyle?
Wouldn't know anything about that. Did I guess the speaker?
He must have DM'd you, I'm guessing.
Oh, he might have. Let me see here. Christian Idealism. Hey, Kyle Alander has already applied. So, wonderful. Okay, cool. Oh, hey. Striking coordinates. Uncatechized Catholic. Desiree's here. So, guys, Desiree's coming. So, if you want to meet Desiree and collab with her, that is this is the chance to do it. So, anyway, all right, cool. I don't know, Josiah. You can text me or something. No, you did not guess it correctly. Although if he wants to come, we could. That would be amazing. Anyway, all right. Well, cool. So
CatholicCreatorConference.com.
Apply. Come talk to us. We love you.
Join the
Goodbye.
Discord.
I'm ending the stream. Join the Discord, which is we finally, thanks to very generous people, got it boosted. So discord.gg/ipsum audite. If you don't know how to spell that, it is right.
It says link in description in the.
I'll add that. I'll add that. Get added. But you see that says ipsum audite right there. Hopefully, I'm not mirrored. If not, it's over here. Yeah. So discord.gg/ipsum audite. Join the server. Come talk to us. All right. And I'm hitting end stream now.